All right, let's dive into one of the most common yet completely misunderstood parts of human connection, the hug. We're going to break down the hidden neurobiology of why this one simple gesture can forge this incredible bond or, just subtly kill the vibe in a matter of seconds.
So you know that feeling, right? You're having a great conversation, everything's clicking, the energy is amazing, and then you go in for a hug and poof, the vibe just shifts. Nothing said, but you both feel it. That little moment is absolutely packed with unspoken information. And today, we're going to decode exactly what's going on under the surface. This quote really gets right to the heart of it. A hug isn't just a hug. It's more like a diagnostic test. In those few seconds you're in contact, her nervous system is running a full scan, gathering just tons of data that tells her, on a deep biological level, how she feels about you. A lot of people fail this test without even knowing they were taking it.
So first up is what we're calling the 2-second threat test. But honestly, that's being generous. It's more like a 0.2 of a second test. Before her conscious mind can even process what's happening, her brain has already made a lightning-fast call on whether you're safe or not. We're talking 100 to 200 milliseconds. It's literally faster than a blink of an eye.
To really get this, think of the brain as having two operating systems. You've got system 1, which is your gut feeling. It's fast, it's automatic, it's all emotion. Then you've got system 2, the mind. It's slow, it's logical, it thinks things through. When you go in for that hug, her system 1 fires first, and it's driven by the amygdala, the brain's alarm system. It makes one instant call, safe or threat. So what kind of things accidentally set off this alarm? Well, here are some of the biggest culprits, and they're things people do all the time. Coming in way too fast with too much momentum, grabbing with both arms at the exact same time, or applying firm pressure right away. See, neurologically, this pattern feels less like a warm hug and more like, a constriction behavior. Her brain reads contained instead of safe, and that's a response that's been wired in for millions of years. So, how do you flip the script? How do you signal safety from the get-go? It's actually pretty simple. First, approach at a slight angle, not straight on like a linebacker. It's just less confrontational. Second, make contact sequentially, one arm and then the other. It feels way more gradual, more like an invitation. And third, just pause for just a half second before you apply any gentle pressure. These 3 little things together send a super clear signal of invitation, not capture. It lets her nervous system completely bypass that threat response. Okay, so let's say you've passed that initial safety test. Now we get to phase 2, the actual neurochemistry of bonding. We're talking about oxytocin, the famous bonding hormone. But here's the catch. Its release is absolutely not guaranteed. And that's where the oxytocin gatekeeper comes into play. What we're talking about here is a concept called social gating. The best way to think about it is like her brain has a bouncer at the door of a VIP club. If the whole vibe feels safe and trustworthy, that bouncer opens the velvet rope and lets oxytocin, the good stuff, flow freely. But if anything feels off, even slightly, that bouncer slams the door shut and instead floods her system with the stress hormone cortisol. So what gets you past the bouncer and what gets you kicked out? It's a pretty clear contrast. On the one hand, to get that oxytocin flowing, she needs to feel a sense of control. She needs to feel your body is physically relaxed, and she needs to feel your genuine presence. But what slams the door shut? Holding on just a little too long. Any kind of tension in your body. Or what you might call outcome energy. That vibe you give off when the hug feels like it's for something else.
And this brings us to a really fascinating point, the language of breath. Because your nervous system is in direct conversation with hers, and the single most honest, unfakeable signal it sends is your breathing. It's a direct window into your internal state. This happens because of a super cool process called respiratory entrainment. It sounds technical, but it just means that when you're in close physical contact, your breathing patterns literally start to influence each other. They begin to sync up. And that synchronization is incredibly powerful. It's been shown to activate feelings of real connection and deep emotional safety.
So this is absolutely crucial. The kind of breathing you bring to the hug dictates the entire experience. If your breathing is shallow and fast, you're basically broadcasting anxiety. Her nervous system is going to pick that up, mirror it, and she'll feel unsettled. But if your breathing is deep and slow, you're broadcasting calm and confidence. Her nervous system will literally follow you into that state, and she'll start to associate that profound feeling of safety directly with you. So how do you actually do this? Here's a dead simple technique you can use anytime. It's the 4-7 rule. Before you even make contact, just discreetly take 2 of these breaths. A 4-second inhale, and then a longer 7-second exhale. Just doing that twice physically shifts your nervous system into a rest and connect state. It guarantees you're projecting real calm from the inside out. And hey, here's another awesome little detail. The side you hug on actually matters. A left-sided hug naturally places her ear closer to your heart. And think about it. The sound of a slow, steady heartbeat is one of the first rhythms we ever hear in the womb. It is a deep, primal, hardwired signal for safety. Okay, so you've nailed the approach, your breathing is calm, but there's one more huge piece of the puzzle, the timing instinct. We all have this built-in sense of social rhythm. Researchers call it temporal sensitivity. And when the timing of a hug is off, even by a second or two, it just creates this powerful feeling of, ugh, this is awkward.
And you know what? The research shows there is a definite sweet spot. There's a perfect window for a hug's duration. Anything under 3 seconds can feel kind of dismissive, like you're just checking a box. But go over 10 seconds, and it can start to feel intrusive. And that's when you risk that cortisol spike. The sweet spot, where all the positive feelings are maximized, is right there in the middle. A good 5 to 10 seconds.
And getting this timing wrong sends a really powerful message, even if nothing's said. Letting go too fast just feels like a subtle rejection, like you're not that interested. But holding on too long? That's even worse. It registers as a violation of control, and it can completely shatter that sense of trust you've been working to build.
Now, if you want to really perfect the dismount, you can use a little psychological hack called the peak end effect. Basically, it means we tend to judge an experience based on its peak moment and its final moment. So, as you're releasing the hug, just let one hand trail gently and intentionally across her upper back. It's a small thing, but it makes that final moment feel warm, complete, and it leaves this lingering positive feeling long after you've let go.
All right, our final element is maybe the most primal and powerful of them all, the scent signal. Scent is wild because it completely bypasses the rational brain. It's a direct hotline to the parts of her brain that control attraction and even judge genetic compatibility. This all comes down to something with a very sciencey name, the major histocompatibility complex, or MHC. It's a mouthful, but what it means is pretty simple. These are genes that show up in your unique body scent, and they signal how diverse your immune system is. In those famous sweaty t-shirt studies, they found that women are instinctively drawn to the scent of men whose MHC is different from their own. It's a deep biological cue for healthier offspring. And a hug? Well, a hug is the primary moment this crucial evaluation takes place.
So the goal here is absolutely not to mask your natural scent with a giant cloud of cologne. It's actually to complement it. So first, cut down on overpowering synthetic fragrances from soaps or lotions. Use unscented or very lightly scented stuff as your base. Then, if you use a fragrance, just one, and make it light, woody or musky notes tend to work best. And finally, and this is key, apply it to pulse points like your neck or chest. That way, the scent is a subtle discovery for someone who gets close, not a loud announcement to the whole room.
Okay, let's pull all these pieces together because this requires a really big shift in thinking. All the clever conversation, the witty jokes, the cool stories, that's all just the opening act. The hug isn't the end of the interaction. The hug is the deepest part of it. It's the main event. It's where the real profound communication happens, on a channel that your conscious mind can't even argue with. The real shift here is moving from performing attraction to truly embodying it. This means being more present, right here, right now, instead of lost in your head. It means you stop accidentally sending out all those little anxiety signals we talked about. And ultimately, you start building what's called a somatic reputation, which is just a fancy way of saying how your physical presence actually feels to other people. The most magnetic people aren't just clever. Their presence feels grounded, safe, and calm. And that really brings us to the final question, the one to really think about. When it comes to connection, are you just going through the motions, just performing attraction? Or are you truly embodying it? Are you becoming fluent in this unspoken biological language we've just explored? Because honestly, mastering it changes everything. Thanks for digging into this with us.